Speaking of motorcycles, that was before we were married. Phil and I were going in the summer, going out to the south side, go swimming, and on swim trunks, corduroys, and thin shirt, and he had his big bike. We get down to about 55th in the outer drive where it curves around, and we'd been breezing along and slowed up to about 45 with traffic, which we were supposed to be traveling, and somehow I got it right beside the rear of a car, and he didn't quite turn the corner like he might have, the curve I should say, and anyhow he caught his bumper on the front fork of a motorcycle. I go down to the pavement. I couldn't move over because Phil was backing me into the side of me, but to the side of me enough. Anyhow, I went down to the pavement with my hands and chin, and then sliding down the outer drive on my back, and thinking, my Lord, how long am I going to slide before I stop? Of course, busy Sunday afternoon, beautiful day, and traffic had come to a screeching halt behind me. Anyhow, I finally stopped sliding, picked myself up, and this guy had drugged the motorcycle about a block before he realized something was wrong, and he pulled over and stopped. Phil got his bike parked. We both walked over and had a bit of a time getting the motorcycle loose from the bumper, and I got it over to the curb, parked it, and of course my palm of my hand was gone, the elbow, and down the back. And he said, "I'll take you to the hospital." And no, it wasn't your fault. So I jumped on behind Phil. We put some oil to keep the air off my burns where there was no skin.
Bike oil.
Yeah, because that time you carried clean oil in the tank. It's just fed it to the engine. And went over to the drugstore. They wouldn't touch it for fear of infection. They had to go about 3 miles to the IC hospital. Had to wait there by some guy who was getting an arm set, and they started on me with alcohol.
Oh, no.
But when they got down to the places below the swim trunks where it worn through the corduroys, it made you dance. Anyhow, I had 17 separate bandages.
Oh, no.
Then again, while I was commuting from folks' place, Florida Crossroads, coming home, I worked, I think, one night. That was a Saturday night. I had to work late at the hotel. And I'm sailing down right the gravel road, as it was at that time, between US 30 and Porter Crossroads, get to Lake Eliza, and there was no stop sign there then. But anyhow, I forgot. I was riding over the right side of the road where it was smoother and there wasn't that much gravel, loose gravel. And forgot about the hump where the crossroad came in, and I went up into the air. And I'd have still been all right, but that day, sometime during the day, they jumped I don't know how many loads of loose gravel just south of there, and finally I lost it and went straight ahead, and the motorcycle to the left through a low ditch and up against a barbed wire fence. By the time I picked myself up, I had a bump up here on the end of this bone, and so I went over to the motorcycle and tried to drag it out of the ditch. I only had one hand that would work. This one wasn't working, to speak of. So I couldn't pull it out. That old Harley is pretty heavy, 600-700 pounds. And so I got it started it up and tried to drive it out, ride it out, and I couldn't get out of that ditch. And just lucky a dance was breaking up. As people came along, somebody recognized me. I couldn't tell you their name at that time or this. To take you home? I said, no, just get this thing out of the ditch for me. So I got it out and rode the 2.5 miles home. Mom had been sleeping downstairs waiting for me to come home, and She took one look at me,
Oh,
let out a yell.
Oh, my
Yell for Mom.
No.
Mom jumped out of it, up upstairs out of it, then sound sleep down those steep stairs. And I think it was more or less the sudden awakening. But anyhow, she takes a look at me and she faints.
no.
And
What?
then she fainted.
She fainted, yeah.
She was trying to figure out just which bone could have been broken.
So, make a long story short, it was cracked right at the end, and we found out the next day